Right, so time to get on with business, and Sandra Fenu has joined me. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Israel. Africa Industrialization Week. How our local businesses surviving. We're telling you the story of GIHOC with all their challenges, how they're able to stand the test of time.
All right, you take it away.
My name is Sandra Senamapeno. As always, I'm here for business. Managing Director of GIHOC Distilleries, Maxwell Kofi Juma, says government's industrialization agenda can best be achieved if much focus is placed on sustainable growth and expansion of the local beverage manufacturing firms. As Ghana joins the rest of Africa to commemorate the African Industrialization Week, Maxwell Kofi Juma has been telling Joy Business how local beverage firms are becoming more competitive to meet global demand. Charles Aite has the rest of the story.
Government's quest to industrialize has remained paramount and seen local manufacturing firms prioritize methods of staying competitive. The aim is to appeal to consumers not just in Ghana, but across the African continent. GIHOC Distilleries is one of Ghana's indigenous beverage manufacturing firms that has stood the test of time and continues to make great strides. With a production capacity of 5,000 cartons a day, Managing Director Maxwell Kofi Juma tells Joy Business venturing into the African market is now the focus of local beverage firms, including GIHOC.
GIHOC, for the past 2 years, have been, aggressively pursuing the export market. We welcome, wholeheartedly the new policy for the African free trade. Incidentally, Ghana is going to be the headquarters. It will help GIHOC. And we believe that the hurdles that we have to get over, the free trade will, reduce those hurdles.
Meanwhile, Maxwell Kofi Juma wants government to focus more on the growth and expansion of local industries rather than paying exclusivity to foreign firms.
What we see is that Ghana is hostile to indigenous businesses. That's what we see. Because the treatment that we receive from these institutions, I don't think they give the same treatment to those other foreign institutions. And I believe that they have to, it's good to welcome, foreigners, but it doesn't mean that you have to treat your own people differently.
Even as Africa celebrates the Industrialization Week, local industries like this one are just putting things together, gearing up for the much bigger expectation, the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. Even though specific challenges remain, various industries, local manufacturing firms are just much more geared up and prepared to take up the challenges in the future. For Joy Business, I'm Charles Aite reporting.
Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, says it's working with its counterparts in Nigeria to help deal with the recent border closure. A few months ago, Nigeria imposed a ban on movement of goods across its border, affecting business operations. At the 30th anniversary celebration of the African Industrialization Day, organized by the AGI and UNIDO, President of the AGI, Dr. Yao Edujemfi, says there is a need to resolve the issue before full implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Bismarck Awusa has more.
According to President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Yao Edujemfi, his outfit is currently working with its Nigerian counterpart to petition both governments on the need to reopen the border to facilitate trade between both countries.
We are not going to close our border, but from my position, talking to the President of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, dealing with the Chamber of Nigeria, we are really come out with a communique to deliver to our presidents of Ghana and Nigeria. The way that we can work together between Ghana and Nigeria to be able to do things.
Meanwhile, speaking on the theme for the anniversary, senior partner at AB and David Law, David Ofosu-Dorotey, emphasized competitiveness of Ghanaian businesses as a benchmark for benefiting from the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
CFTA is significant if we break the barriers, the amount of money available here, and we should look at it from that angle. If you are not competitive in Ghana, which has got only 30 million people, you cannot be competitive in 1.2 or 1.3 billion people. Forget it. If you are not competitive in Nigeria, which has got 175 or 200 million people, you cannot be competitive in 1.2 billion people. It's as simple as that.
Chief Director of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Patrick Nimo, highlighted some initiatives his outfit is putting in place to facilitate trade and empower local businesses.
In terms of trade-related infrastructure, we've seen the expansion of the Tema and Takoradi port, projects to expand the Tema and Takoradi ports. This year, we've seen considerable investment in road projects. We've seen airport expansion and a push in the railway sector.
Delivering a speech on behalf of the UN Secretary General, UN Resident Coordinator Yukia Yakub called on African countries to look at the trade agreement with a holistic approach. This year's Africa Industrialization Day highlights how the trade agreement will boost regional economic transformation and sustainable development. Bismarck Ewusa's report for Joy Business.
In a related development, Chairman for the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade and Industry, Nana Mafo Amaniampong, has urged Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA to desist from closing foreigners' shops to avoid a retaliatory attack on Ghanaian traders in other countries. And he's been speaking to Joy Business.
This GUTA thing, deep within, I'm telling you, even those. It is out of frustration that, these GUTA members are doing that. When Nigeria also began to flex their muscles, you also started hearing that they've closed their borders and this. If we think that we will not, because we've made a law that this should be ceded to Ghanaians alone, so we don't want to see foreigners here, they can also say that, fine, we don't need Ghanaians to come and also send anything to our country and also take anything from our country. At the end of the day, you see that, both countries will suffer in a way. When I came to Parliament, this law, this Act 856, has already been in existence for almost 15 years. And somebody was saying that, the chairman was saying that, I'm saying that that law is a bad law and we have to change it. Fine. As at that time, if they have that benefit of the future, probably that law might have not been put into it. Because let me tell you, whether we like it or not, sometimes we can behave like ostriches, bury our head in the sand and behave like nothing is happening, only for some car to come and knock you off. We need Nigeria, Nigeria needs us. Because no particular country can be self-sufficient. If America of all places, China of all places think that they need Ghana, then it tells you that everybody needs everybody.
Following a rocky start and frustration at the ongoing validation exercise, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has apologized to customers of defunct fund management firms. We have details of that apology, but first let's hear from Group Indum on what government's 2.4 billion Ghana cedi debt owed them would do for its distressed clients. This is the business news summaries.
Indum has asked government to do due diligence by paying monies it owes them to facilitate payment of their customers. In a statement released by the Corporate Affairs Department of the company, they noted how delays on the part of government is stalling processes. They believe each party will have its piece if their monies are paid by the state and on time at that. The group, which is demanding an amount of 2.4 billion Ghana cedis from government, is currently in court to challenge the state's contrary stance that it owes them a sum of 30 million Ghana cedis. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has apologized to customers of some defunct fund management companies over issues regarding their inability to do their validation of claims. Customers of the defunct fund management companies who visited various validation centers in Kumasi in the Ashanti region, for instance, were left stranded as no official from the SEC attended to them.
That's all for now. I'm back with more business news after 8 p.m.